At the beginning of the story, we meet a young girl named Sarah, a girl who truly believes in God and miracles. Today is a big day because her brother Danny has an important football match. But things aren't going easy for him. His opponent Alvy keeps blocking his way again and again, not letting him score. At one point, Alvy even knocks Danny down to the ground. And surprisingly, the referee doesn't say a single word. Watching this, Danny's dad, Alex, and his grandpa Sam get really upset. But no matter how angry they feel, there's nothing they can do. Seeing her brother struggle, Sarah quietly closes her eyes and prays to God, just asking for one goal. And then, something amazing happens. A few moments later, Danny scores an incredible goal, shocking everyone on the field. Sarah's face lights up with happiness. But that happiness doesn't last long. Suddenly, Alvy pretends to fall right in front of Danny. The referee believes the act, gives Danny a yellow card, and awards Alvy a penalty kick. Alvy takes the shot and scores. Just like that, his team wins the match. Sarah feels confused and disappointed. She turns to her grandpa Sam and asks, "I prayed to God, so why did Danny still lose?" Sam gently smiles and replies, "You prayed for Danny to score, and he did, but you never asked for him to win. Don't feel discouraged. Everything God does has a reason. Maybe in his plan, losing this match was more important than winning it." Sarah is a thoughtful and understanding girl. Without arguing, she quietly leaves with Danny and his girlfriend Cindy, heading towards Sam's house. On the way, Sarah and Cindy enjoy their favorite song together, laughing and singing, and soon they arrive. Later, Sarah goes with Danny and Cindy to a nearby lake for fishing. There she finds something heartbreaking, a small bird lying lifeless on the ground. She feels deeply sad. Danny suggests they should bury the bird, but Sarah refuses. She softly says, "I don't think it's dead. Maybe it's just unconscious. Maybe it'll wake up soon." Danny checks carefully and confirms, "No, Sarah, it's gone. It can't come back." But Sarah refuses to accept it. She says, "Lazarus had been dead for 4 days, and still, Jesus brought him back to life. Why can't we pray to God and ask him to bring this bird back too?" Danny shakes his head and replies, "That was long ago. God isn't here like that anymore. It's better if we just bury it." But Sarah looks at him with complete faith and says, "God is everywhere. We just need to call him with our hearts. No matter what, I believe this bird will live again." So he leaves with Cindy to go fishing somewhere else. Sarah gently holds the bird, closes her eyes, and prays, "You created this beautiful bird, so please bring it back. Its family must be missing it." She keeps praying again and again with pure faith. After some time, Danny and Cindy return and ask her to come home. But Sarah is just smiling, looking across the lake. She softly asks, "Can't you see God? He's right there, walking on the water." Danny looks confused and says, "What are you talking about? This isn't funny. I told you already, God can't bring this bird back. Let's go home before Mom gets angry." And then something unbelievable happens. The bird suddenly moves, comes back to life, and flies away from Sarah's hands. Danny and Cindy are completely shocked. They can't understand how a dead bird could suddenly come alive, but Sarah isn't surprised at all. She smiles, knowing deep in her heart this happened because of her prayer. Filled with joy, she runs to Sam and tells him everything. Sam asks, "Did you tell your mom and dad?" Sarah replies, "I did, but they didn't believe me. They think I just imagined it." But Danny and Cindy saw it too. Sam looks at her with warmth and says, "Even if no one else believes you, I do. I know you're telling the truth." Then he gently adds, "But maybe it's better not to talk about this with everyone. People might not understand." That night, Sarah secretly uses Danny's phone to call her close friend Mark. She tells him everything about the bird coming back to life, and even about seeing God. But before ending the call, she makes him promise one thing: don't tell anyone. People will just laugh at me. That night, Sarah's mom, Bonnie, comes into her room and gently tries to put her to sleep. But Sarah looks at her and says something unexpected. "Mom, God really came to the lake. He brought that bird back to life. It wasn't my imagination. He even talked to me. He said he'll soon take me with him to heaven." Hearing this, Bonnie is completely shaken. She can't understand why her 10-year-old daughter is talking about dying. Sarah softly continues, "I don't want to die so soon, but I want to go with God to heaven." Bonnie, now emotional and scared, replies, "No matter what happens, I won't let you go anywhere. You're staying right here with me for a very long time." She tucks Sarah into bed and quietly leaves the room. Late at night, Danny walks into Sarah's room to grab his phone. Sarah looks very sick. He quickly calls their dad, Alex, and Alex immediately contacts his friend, Dr. Ben, and asks him to come over. Ben examines Sarah and calmly says, "There's nothing to worry about. It's just a mild fever. She'll be fine soon." Bonnie then tells him everything about the dead bird, Sarah's claim that God brought it back to life, and how she believes God will soon take her to heaven. Ben listens and reassures her. That's nothing unusual. Kids her age often imagine things like this. It's actually quite normal. She'll be all right. Later, Alex finds a drawing in Sarah's room. a drawing of God. He is completely stunned because Sarah had never shown any interest in drawing before, and yet this artwork is incredibly detailed and beautiful. He shows it to Bonnie, and she's just as surprised. The next day, Sarah gives Mark a drawing she made for him. In the drawing, Mark is standing on his own feet, playing basketball. Seeing this, Mark feels truly happy because ever since his car accident, he hasn't been able to stand or walk. Just then, a group of boys shows up and starts making fun of Sarah. Mark had told them about Sarah seeing God and about the bird coming back to life, so now they're mocking her. At that moment, Danny and Cindy happen to pass by, and they see what's going on. Danny kicks a football toward the boys, knocking them off their bicycles, and they quickly run away. After that, Danny starts heading home with everyone, but on the way, Alvy stops him again and kicks his ball far away. Danny tries to ignore him because of Cindy and starts walking away. But then, Alvy begins mocking Sarah and even makes fun of Mark's disability. This time, Danny loses his patience and starts arguing with him. Meanwhile, one of Alvy's friends is distracted on his phone, driving his car nearby. He's about to hit Alvy, but Danny quickly pulls him out of the way and saves him. However, in the chaos, Alvy's dog gets hit by the car and collapses. Alvy gets furious at his friend and is about to attack him, but Danny and Cindy stop him. Meanwhile, Sarah walks toward the injured dog. She kneels beside it, closes her eyes, and starts praying to God. Alvy, already angry, shouts at her to move away. But then, something unbelievable happens. The dog slowly gets back up, completely healed, and starts playing happily with Sarah. Everyone is left stunned. They can't understand how an injured dog just recovered in seconds. Mark, still in shock, says, "I've never seen anything like this in my life. You healed that dog right in front of everyone. Please pray for me too. I want to walk again." Sarah nods and prays for him, but this time, nothing happens. Still, she gently says, "Don't be disappointed. I'll pray for you properly when I get home. Maybe God will heal you too." The next day, Mark's parents take him to Dr. Ben, because for the first time since his accident, Mark is able to move his toes. At first, Ben doesn't believe it, but when he sees it with his own eyes, he is completely shocked. And then, something even more incredible happens. Mark slowly stands up on his own and starts walking. His parents are overwhelmed with joy. A news reporter who happens to be at the hospital approaches Mark and asks what happened. Mark explains, "Sarah prayed to God for me, and that's why I'm healed. She also brought Alvy's dog back to life, and even a dead bird." The reporter finds the story unbelievable, and soon this news spreads on TV. Dr. Ben, however, doesn't believe in God or miracles, so he decides to visit Sarah himself. But Sarah calmly repeats the same thing. "I talked to God, and because of my prayer, the bird came back to life." Ben still can't accept it. He suggests running a brain examination on her. The truth is, Ben once had a son named Jason, who died because of an illness. And ever since that day, Ben lost his faith in God. He believes that if God truly exists, then why would he allow innocent children to die? Dr. Ben's wife had already seen Sarah's story on the news, and she knew very well that Ben wouldn't believe any of it. So she tries to reason with him. She says, "Jason's death has nothing to do with whether God exists or not. If Sarah truly believes in God, you don't have the right to take away her faith." But Ben doesn't listen. In his mind, he has already made a decision. He will prove Sarah wrong and put an end to what he sees as blind belief. Then we are introduced to a girl named Teresa. She is suffering from cancer, and she doesn't have much time left. Teresa loves horses, so a priest brings one for her, just to make her smile. For a moment, she feels happy, but soon she starts talking about dying. The priest tries to comfort her, telling her stories about Jesus and the Bible, but Teresa has already overheard the doctors. She knows the truth. She knows her time is running out. Teresa's mother had also seen Sarah's story on the news. With a small hope in her heart, she asks the priest about it, thinking maybe Sarah could help save her daughter. Without wasting any time, they go to Sarah's house. And they are not alone. People from all over the town have gathered there, bringing their sick children, hoping for a miracle. Even though Alex and Bonnie try to stop her, Sarah walks outside, ready to help them. Alex turns to the crowd and says, "Sarah can't perform miracles. It was just a coincidence that Mark was able to walk again after her prayer. That doesn't mean she can heal everyone." He tries to take Sarah back inside, but then Sarah suddenly stops. Her eyes fall on Teresa. Just a little while ago, Sarah had drawn a picture of her, and Alex had seen that drawing too. He recognizes Teresa, and this time, he doesn't stop Sarah. Sarah gently holds Teresa's hand, closes her eyes, and starts praying. Within moments, Teresa's condition begins to improve. One by one, Sarah holds the hands of other children and keeps praying for them. And something even more incredible happens. Teresa can see a figure behind Sarah, a figure that looks like God. A blind girl suddenly gains her sight. A disabled child stands up on his own feet. Everyone is left in complete shock. They begin thanking Sarah, overwhelmed with emotion. But suddenly, Sarah collapses. She faints and is rushed to the hospital immediately. Bonnie, worried and emotional, tells Ben. After praying for Mark, Sarah's health started getting worse, and now she's helped so many children. She's completely exhausted. You weren't there, but I saw it with my own eyes. A blind girl could see. A disabled child could walk. Ben calmly replies, "Right now, you should focus on Sarah's condition. Forget everything else. I'll explain everything later." Outside the hospital, a crowd of reporters gathers. They all want to talk to Sarah, to interview her. Alex knows they won't leave them alone so easily, so he quickly takes his entire family and leaves for Sam's house. Bonnie is deeply worried about Sarah. She says to Sam, "Ever since Sarah said she saw God, her condition has been getting worse day by day. I don't understand what's happening to her." Sam can't bear to see her like this, so he quietly walks to the lake and begins talking to God. "I don't know if you really met Sarah or not, but we both know how pure and kind she is." He pauses, then continues, "I also know I'm not a good man, and maybe I don't even have the right to talk to you. But for Sarah, I have to. She has such a good heart, and I don't want anything to happen to her. If you really want to take someone, then take me instead. But please, give Sarah more time with her family." But there is no answer. And slowly, Sam's emotions turn into frustration. He looks up and says, "I don't understand why make her so pure and loving. If you were only going to take her away from us, why is it always the good ones who are taken so soon?" Meanwhile, Ben arrives at Sam's house with his colleague, Jerry. He wants to talk privately with Alex and Bonnie about Sarah's condition, so Bonnie sends Sarah outside with Danny. Danny tries to cheer her up. He wants to play with her, make her feel better. But Sarah doesn't seem interested at all. Instead, she quietly tricks Danny and goes back inside the house. Meanwhile, Ben sits down with Alex and Bonnie and delivers the worst news they could ever hear. He tells them Sarah has a brain tumor, and it's too large to remove. Even surgery won't help. In fact, if we try, it could cost her life. Hearing this, Bonnie completely breaks down. She starts crying uncontrollably. Ben continues, trying to stay logical. Looking at all the reports, it seems like the tumor is affecting her mind. That's why she believes she healed those children with God's help. But that's not real. It's just her imagination. Those words only make things worse. Bonnie cries even harder. But what they don't realize is, Sarah has heard everything. She quietly walks over to her mother, trying to comfort her. But deep inside, she can't ignore the truth either. With tears in her eyes, Sarah says, "I don't want to go to the hospital. I want to spend my last moments with my family. And I want to go to the lake one last time." As she says this, she suddenly feels dizzy. Alex quickly holds her and decides to take her to the hospital. Crying, Sarah turns to Sam and pleads, "Please, I don't want to go to the hospital. I just want to go to the lake before I die." Sam wants to take her there, but seeing her condition, they have no choice but to admit her to the hospital. Later, Sam gathers everyone, all the people Sarah had helped. He looks at them and says, Sarah never thought about herself. She only cared about helping others. And now, she's fighting between life and death. She doesn't have much time left, and her last wish is to go to the lake. So no matter what, we have to take her there. Teresa steps forward and says, "When Sarah healed me, I saw something. I saw a figure behind her. It looked like God. If I'm right, then maybe God was working through Sarah to heal all of us. That's why she became so weak." She looks at everyone with hope and says, "But if we take her back to the lake, maybe God can heal her too." Everyone agrees. They are ready to do whatever it takes. Danny says, "Mom and Dad are always with Sarah, and reporters are outside the hospital. If we want to get her to the lake, we'll need a solid plan." Teresa's mother, who works as a nurse at the same hospital, helps them get inside. Meanwhile, Sam distracts Alex and Bonnie, keeping them away from Sarah. Taking advantage of the moment, Teresa quietly lies down in Sarah's place. At the same time, Cindy goes near the reception and pretends to faint. The nurses rush to help her, and in that exact moment, Danny takes Sarah and sneaks her out. They all quickly get into a car and speed toward the lake. Soon, Alex and Bonnie realize what's happening. After talking to Teresa, they understand that Sarah is being taken to the lake. They immediately rush out to stop them, but they're not the only ones. The reporters outside the hospital spot the car and begin chasing them too. On the way, the police are about to stop Danny's car, but at the last second, Sam drives in front of them, slowing them down, giving Danny just enough time to speed past and escape. However, their path isn't clear for long. Up ahead, a fallen tree blocks the road. The car can't go any further. Danny looks around, confused and desperate. He doesn't know how he's going to get Sarah to the lake now. And then, Alvy shows up. He looks at Danny and says, "Sarah saved my dog's life. Now it's my turn to help her." Without wasting a moment, he carefully lifts Sarah in his arms and starts running toward the lake through a steep hillside path. On the way, a wolf suddenly appears in front of them. For a moment, everything freezes. But then, Alvy's dog jumps forward, growling, scaring the wolf away, and they keep moving. Back on the road, the police ask Sam to surrender, but he refuses. Instead, he drives off toward the lake with Jerry by his side. Soon, Alex and Bonnie arrive at the scene, along with a crowd of reporters. By now, even the officers realize this isn't just chaos. This is all happening because of Sarah. So they stop trying to interfere. Within moments, everyone reaches the lake. Bonnie, overwhelmed with fear and anger, turns to Sam and says, "What have you done? You know how critical Sarah's condition is. And still, you brought her out here in the middle of the night. If anything happens to her, I will never forgive you." And then, something unimaginable happens. Across the lake, a glowing portal of light opens. From within it, a divine figure appears. God, in a human-like form. At that moment, Sarah's soul gently leaves her body and begins to move toward the portal. Inside the light, countless souls can be seen. Everyone stands frozen, unable to process what they're witnessing. Before anyone can react, the portal suddenly closes. And just like that, it's over. Heartbroken, everyone gathers around Sarah, crying, and slowly leaves the lake. The reporters check their cameras, but strangely, there is no footage of the glowing portal, no sign of what just happened. Sam walks up to the police officer and quietly surrenders himself, but after witnessing everything, the officer simply lets him go. Back home, Bonnie, filled with regret, says to Sam, "I'm sorry for everything I said. Now I understand you were only trying to fulfill Sarah's last wish." As everyone sits together, they begin looking at Sarah's drawings. Suddenly, Cindy finds something unusual, a drawing of Sarah walking out of a glowing portal of light. Seeing this, Danny realizes something. Through tears, he begins praying, "Please bring Sarah back." And then a miracle happens. Sarah slowly opens her eyes. She's alive. Everyone is overwhelmed with joy. They begin thanking God. Their prayers finally answered. But Ben still stands there in shock. He can't understand how this is possible. Jerry looks at him and says, "Now you have to believe. God himself gave Sarah a second life." Soon, people from all over gather outside Sarah's house. They kneel down, showing her respect. But Sarah gently stops them. She says, "I'm not special. I'm just a lucky girl, someone God chose to meet." She looks at them and continues, "You can meet him too. You just have to let go of the darkness inside your heart and truly believe." Then she adds, "I didn't heal anyone. Not before, not now. I was only following God's will. You all can do the same. Just have faith and pray." Hearing her words, everyone feels hope. Even Ben finally begins to believe in God again. Sometimes miracles don't happen because the world changes. They happen because someone truly believes. Sarah didn't have power. She had faith, and maybe that's all it really takes.